Bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
We're now watching the Half Your Deen Show.
Half Your Deen Show.
With Samir Abdullah.
And Imam Naeem Abdullah.
Half Your Deen Show.
Assalamu alaikum. We are
now watching the Half Your Deen Show on Northern Radio.
You know you're a criminal, right?
Like
you illegal. You're a criminal.
Subhanallah.
You sharing copyrighted material in Facebook don't play. They probably flagged you before the clip was over.
Woo! They was like, wait a minute. This sounds
that's the last time you're going to do that.
No, I got to figure out another way. Wa alaikum salam to Lebikato, everyone. We apologize.
This is why I think you ever go on YouTube and somebody have a song or a movie and they change the speed. It'd be like real fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why. I think something with the technology, algorithm stuff, it sort of kind of makes it undetectable. I don't know. It's my guess.
MashaAllah.
But every time I see a movie on YouTube and you can just click it and watch it like another video, they always got it going a little bit fast.
SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah.
I'm just trying to figure out what made you think you was going to play that clip and nothing was going to happen. I need you to explain
other clips.
I need you to explain that for the class.
I played other stuff.
What other stuff?
When we played that clip about that man that killed his girlfriend and his baby mama and left the kids in the car.
What?
And he was on Facebook talking about he did something and how his ex-wife was doing him in. We played that.
Yes, but I think news reports and cinematic movies that people had to pay to go into the movies and see, I think it's different. I don't know. I think that's like apples and oranges,
Listen, that's above my pay grade. That's my ignorance.
And you notice other professional YouTubers, when they play news clips, they'll have a picture there and they just play the audio of the clip.
Mm-hmm. I thought about doing that, but I didn't have time.
You didn't have time, and they flagged your black behind.
Now,
but you have
I
time
need to
next
ask
time.
the audience, did y'all see the clip all the way through? Let me know if y'all saw the whole clip. You remember that clip from watching the movie previously? Did y'all see it? Because it's important that y'all with me with this. Okay, Asia says she did. Asnali said he's seen it. Okay. Subhanallah. Does my black card get revoked because I've never seen that movie? No, Adrian. That means you're more pious than we are. And may we reach your level. May we reach that maqam. I mean, I'm not being funny
because you know you're a deviant, right?
I am a deviant, I'm a sinner. Yes.
You're gonna get refuted by the Wahhabis and Facebook. They already refuted you. They flagged you. They put you on a list the same way the Wahhabis do.
It's a battle. Now, we're going to talk about this. Walaikum assalam. I came in late. What was the clip? The clip was from, I think it was the first version of Why Did I Get Married? The first one. Why Did I Get Married? Where, I forgot his name. What's his name? Marcus.
Michael J. White. Michael J.
White. Right. He confronted his wife and his baby mama. If you didn't see that clip on here, go try to quickly find it on YouTube. It's there. It's in there, right? And then come back and join the conversation, right? So, yeah, Marcus. So I want to break this down. Our title for today, I don't want y'all. I don't want to lose y'all. The title is, "What does leadership?"
Oh, hold on. I'm looking at my Facebook notification.
What happened?
Lionsgate Rights Management blocked your video because it may contain content they own.
Okay, we ain't trying to make no money. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay.
Now you got Lionsgate blocking me. See how you got me in trouble? Now I got to go in the corner.
You got to go in the corner. Listen, we helping them get views. Shoot, see, they cutting off their money. But anyway, the title of today's talk is, "What does leadership, consultation, and cooperation looks like?" What does that look like? And so when I saw this clip, I said, we got to talk about this. Because a lot of times, like I said, we sabotage our own situations. We think we be doing stuff. And all we do is shoot ourselves in the foot. I'm talking about the sisters. I don't know
That's
so
right.
much the brothers.
And I'm not going to interrupt you. You talk about the sisters?
I'm talking about the sisters. I'm talking about the sisters. You can talk about the brother view. I'm talking about from the sisters' view.
Okay, alhamdulillah. I don't have much to say. Bismillah.
No, you go. I want you to no. No, you gotta. No, this is not about the sisters. I'm just saying from the sisters' point of view.
Why you keep rolling your words back? You said it's about the sisters. You talk about the sisters. Now that I said that, it ain't about the sisters.
Now you trying to get out. You trying to put it all on me.
No. The sisters was out of pocket. We need to sit there. We need to marinate in that for a minute. We trying to milk. We trying to extract.
Mm-hmm.
We trying to philosophize on how the sisters was out of pocket. We're not going to skate over that. We're going to sit there for a minute.
Not just the sisters, brothers too. I'm just saying from my
the
perspective.
brothers too. Oh.
So you got to come from the sisters' side too, okay?
Let me mute my microphone.
Walaikum assalam, sister. Thank you for joining us. Mashallah. Wow. A sister addressing the sisters and accountability. Don't get canceled, sister. I'm already canceled. I've been that sister. What's my motto, Habibi? I'm not on nobody's side. I'm not on the sister side. When things come up,
it's not
I'm not
motto.
on the brother side.
It's motto.
Motto.
You say, what's my motto?
Motto. You know. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm on Allah and His Messenger side. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why whose side I try to be on. I'm not biased. Like if things come up or I'm privy to certain things, I don't quick to take sides. I don't. I try not to. So I'm not on anybody's sides. And I was canceled because of that. Because I didn't take a side. And I'm okay with that. Mashallah. Miss Joanne is in the house. Wa alaikum salam to the cactus. Miss Joanne, thank you for joining us. Alhamdulillah. Miss Joanne be keeping it real. She be letting us know how she be doing Farouk when he was growing up. It be cracking me up. Farouk can front all he want. His mama done spilt the beans. I know everything. Don't even front how you grew up. She put you in your place, bro. Oh, so
Akil, when I read Akil's comment just now, you know what I heard in my mind? I apologize.
I think it's a shame that the man Dagnere had to snap in order to get some respect. Right. Leadership. And I want you to, chime in, Habibi.
I'm not chiming in until you spend a significant amount of time addressing how the sisters was out of pocket. We're not going to skate past that.
We will. I'm going to. Oh my
why does it take you so long to do it? Go in.
You know what? You hear him? Get him. Get him. He just want to point that out. It's a whole lot of wrong. It was a whole lot of mess with that. Right? I want to get to this leadership. The first part of the topic, leadership. In any situation that you find yourself in requires someone to be in charge. I don't care what situation it is. Right? It could be your job, right? You working for somebody, you're going to have a boss, you're going to have a supervisor, you're going to have a manager, whoever that's, giving you, orders and things and such. Someone got to be in charge because it's not your, you don't own the establishment. You just work there, right? When you traveling in Islam, if you're traveling in a group, it is according to the Sunnah to appoint a leader. Did y'all know that? When you traveling and you have a group, everybody is just not like, okay, I'm just for myself. If you're in a group, you have to appoint a leader. Somebody got to be in charge. Somebody got to take, responsibility for the groups, for their, safety and protection. Right? In marriage, the husband is in charge. Right? He's in charge. That is his role. Although his wife in her role is in charge of the household, of the children. That's her role. We can't change that because we live in these times, these current times, and you call yourself a modern woman. You identifying being a modern, I'm saying modern on purpose, woman does not change the roles, right? And so you see here, Marcus was not fulfilling his role properly. That's why them sisters was cutting up. That's why they was acting like that. They was punking him. They didn't respect him. And so if you notice, the wife, look what she threw out. It's my money. Throwing in his face to shame him. If this was someone that she loved and respect, she wouldn't do that. Even if it was the case that you had to take care of him at one point or another. Okay? Even if that is the case, right? You should not shame your husband because you want to, get a one up over him. That doesn't make you look good. That's somebody else's narrative that you keeping up when you do that. You diminish your role when you do that. And a lot of us we get caught up in that. I gave him this and I did this for him and I did that for him. You can't tell me that because I did, right? Our tongues could be very reckless. So she started out the gate wrong. He's in charge. And you should respect him and respect his role. What you did for him, and I'm saying from an Islamic context. Let's not look at it because, yes, they are non-Muslims. Let's look at it in Islamic context. Like I said, I don't know if y'all heard me. Maybe I did. Imagine them in Kimar, in niqabs, and, you know, he in the kufi and though, you know, imagine they look like Muslims, right? Because you have a lot of these situations exactly like this, unfortunately. And so, out the bat, she was out of pocket. She was wrong. She was wrong. And this is the sicknesses that we see in our marriages, in our communities. People want to shame you, right? In Islam, we're supposed to be looking out for one another, right? And you may be in, you know, Allah bless you with certain, you know, amount of prestige and resources that he didn't bestow on others. And we know that in Quran, Allah tells us that he gives to whom he wills, right? Right? He does that. That's by Allah's will. We can't change that. And we can't claim that because we have no control of what Allah, you know, will for us to have in this life. And so we bring that up in our communities. Oh, I did this for the community. I gave them X amount of dollars, or I did this and that and the other. They need to listen to me and respect me. Hold up, sister, brother. Did you give fi sabilillah, or did you give so that somebody can kiss your butt because you gave? We got to watch our intentions. We have to watch our intentions. First of all, actions are but by intentions, and you will have what you intended. So, like I said, we sabotage ourselves. So if you have that mindset that you're doing somebody a favor and you think by shaming them or, you know, reminding of favors is going to work for you, you have not read the Quran, because Allah addresses that. That's why our communities are jacked up, because you have people like these running communities. And this makes other people run away and don't want to be part of the community, because you don't make me feel like family. You make me feel like I'm one of your slaves or something. Let me go look through these comments. If you lead it and no one is following, then you are just out for a walk. Akil said, let's get, that's what Hassan Ali said. Akil said, let's go to the out-of-pocket system. We get to that. You said probably because of his past and current behavior, but I don't know. Sister said, but it starts with respect. Respect got to start with yourself. Respect has to start with yourself. You can't respect no one if you don't respect yourself. Respect is in different, it looks different. Respect is not only the way you carry yourself. Respect is having a good opinion about yourself. Respect is having a good opinion about others, how you treat others. I had put a stat up about that Islam, you know, it makes you, I forgot what I said, but I said that it makes you be just to yourself and others. And what I meant by that is you're not going to violate yourself. A lot of us violate ourselves. And that's wrong, because when you violate yourself, you're going to violate others. You don't care enough about yourself. Why would I care about you? Right? So it starts with you, right? And you have to recognize your role in your, you know, your situation, what role you play. If you don't respect yourself, you're not going to respect anybody else, right? And if you do respect yourself, right, you want for your sister what you want for yourself. Want for your brother and sister what you want for yourself, right? So if you want to be shown respect, you're going to give it, right? That's how it should be reciprocated. right? This is not a one-sided thing. Should be reciprocated. Hussein said, when the wife is out of line, she has a problem being checked, even if she's wrong. Yet Allah's messenger, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, checked his wives when necessary. Why such a combative attitude? Because no one checked that woman. Nobody told her that's inappropriate. That's the inappropriate way to act. Somebody told us it was okay. Wa alaikum salam to be careful, Sister Tahira. I don't know if I addressed you or not, mashallah. Yeah, somebody said it was okay. Somebody co-signed that stuff. And when you have a whole bunch of people co-signing that stuff, and a lot of us, we're so weak, we fall into that and think it's okay, and it's not at all. The brother, Miriam said, I can't put it up because it's long, but I'm going to read it here. The brother took charge at the end and made it clear that he isn't having it overall. His first point was to remind his wife that he's there for the sake of support, love, and family, despite the money she now has, right? Keyword now. He was there when she was broke. The baby mama came out and disrespected him by calling him out on bringing his wife, who, by the way, took her kids when he needed space. He took charge of that and let it be known she won't be disrespecting his wife again. And they both will be playing. I can't see the rest of the comment. I have to go online. Hold on. And try to read it online. Sorry, y'all. Hold on. That's an interesting comment. Okay, I got you here. They both will be playing their roles in their place. He did what he was supposed to, and hopefully they stayed the course moving forward. That was my take. Yes. I apologize for that. I don't know anything. I'm allowing people to blame my divorce on COVID. SubhanAllah. So, yes. So her coming out, disrespecting him, being condescending. I remember one time I was in Philly. I was living in Philly. And I was at, I forgot, I think it was Save-A-Lot. Over there on, what was that road? I forgot the road. Woodland Avenue. My Philly peeps know where Save-A-Lot. Let me say this point and I'm going to make Salat. And I was parked. I was waiting for somebody, I guess. I was in my car. And this grown behind woman, I don't know how old she was. She probably was like 40, late 40s, early 50s. She coming out the driver's side of her car. And her old man came out the passenger side. You mother. This man might be the same age as she was. And my mouth dropped like, you know, let her talk to you like that. And she was just so comfortable and being so derogatory and so, it was so disgusting. Because I'm like, that's a black woman. I'm a black woman. And you talking to your black man like that? I'm surprised he put his fist in your mouth. And I don't condone violence. But the way she was talking to him, she was like, try it. Well, dare you say something? And I forgot what she was arguing about. But not only was she talking to him in that manner, she was loud. She was screaming on him. She was so loud. And my mouth was like, you gonna let her talk? And he ain't said nothing. He ain't said a word. So I'm gonna leave that right there. Maybe you can explain that, why he didn't say nothing.
Wow, who ain't saying nothing? What are you talking about? You heard me. Don't go away yet.
You're gonna make me come back to my computer.
Yeah,
I said I was at Save-A-Lot in Philly, over there on Woodland Avenue. And I was waiting outside in the car, and this man and woman pulled up. She got out the driver's side. He got out the passenger. And I said, she's about late 40s, early 50s, and he about the same age. And she was cursing him, calling him all MFers and all types, real loud. And he ain't said a word. He didn't argue back. He didn't give any rebuttals or nothing. He didn't walk away. He didn't leave. He stood there and take it. He took it. So you explain to me why he did that. And I'll
There's
be
a
back.
lot of things that could have been going on. One of the things that could have been going on is that he's actually trying to control his temper. Like, he could have been like 1 second from breaking her jaw, literally. But they're in public. He didn't want to walk away. Maybe he needed the car. He's there controlling himself. Could be a lot of things. I don't know that particular situation. A lot of times, brothers be with sisters, and they showing out like that. Is actually embarrassing. And a lot of brothers like that ain't trying to contribute to that. In any case, whatever the situation is, it's not really, at least I don't know about now, but back in the day, it wasn't like really considered a manly thing to, go back and forth with your wife or your girlfriend, whatever the situation is. Just she yelling and screaming, you yelling and screaming with her. That's not no masculine. Ain't nothing manly about that. Men look at people, real men look at men like doing that, like, why are you doing that? Her violation is one thing, but you going there with her is another thing. So her violation is another thing. Her coming out her face, talking all crazy, in private or public. But public that's another violation. Number one, talking all crazy. Period. Even if they were behind closed doors, privately, and no one heard them, that's still a violation. The second violation, did it public. That's the second violation, right? The third violation would be if the brother starts going back and forth with her. That's violation. Like, why are you doing that? Men don't do that. And just the reality is a lot of women, our women don't respect our men for many reasons. But all men get the blame for what some men may have done. And so there's no respect there. Like a lot of times, I think I mentioned several times. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on the Half Your Dean show, but I know I mentioned it several times here. Like in real life and especially on social media, there's a whole group of black people that call themselves divestors. The women are more popular, but you got men divestors too, black men divestors. You have a whole bunch of black men said, I'm done with black women. I mess with anything but a black woman. And then you got black women that say, I'm done with black men. I mess with anything except a black man, right? Well, one of the things that black men notice when those divestor women interact with, and many of them, they just deal with white men, right? They say that they observe how these particular women, when they were with black men, all mouthy, like the example that my wife mentioned, all types of smoke, all types of spice, all types of fat mouthing, and all that kind of stuff for the black man. But now she's with Zaddy, what is slang that they use. Now she's with the white man. She don't mess with black men no more. She's with the white man. She divested herself from black men. She don't have none of that smoke, none of that spice, none of that fat mouthing for Zaddy. He gets full and complete cooperation. She knows how to behave. That's some of the things that a lot of brothers notice. And I know there's exceptions. But I seen that. She, like Tara said, become all complacent. And yes, a master with Zaddy. Exactly. See, in our community, when I say our community, the Black American community, the dominating narrative is that the Black woman will respect the Black man if he deserves it. The narrative in other Black cultures is the woman is going to respect the man because the culture demands it, and that's what women do, even if the man don't respect, don't deserve it. And I've seen it with my own eyes. Y'all know I go back and forth to Africa all the time. The culture will not tolerate that. The other women in those cultures will not tolerate a woman disrespecting her husband. It has nothing to do with him, it has everything to do with her. But because we've been taken away from our cultures, we don't have that. Our cultures is literally perversions of pop culture. So our culture changes every few years. When I was young growing up, couldn't be no alphabet person and be out of the closet. Like what? I remember growing up on my block and like two women lived together. Everybody knew about it, but nobody talked about it. People like whisper about it, like now, and our culture is different now. That fast. In other Black cultures, like basically anywhere on the African continent, regardless of which culture, which country you in. I'm just giving one example. That alphabet stuff ain't tolerated. You can pass any law you want. The Western government can come over there and say, hey, listen, you better make this stuff legal, or we're going to hold back our money, or we're going to call back our loans from the IMF. You can do all that. You can do all that. And the government may even pass some laws on it. But the people, they're not going for that. And this is one thing that a lot of us, we don't understand. Like, we go to these websites with these different African countries, and they say the official language is this, and this is this and that about the country. And we believe that, right? But when you get on the ground, you see it's a whole different story. Yeah, this is legal in the country, but you try that openly. Try it. Nobody, no police coming to save you. So I'm saying that for and in our situation, we've been snatched away from our cultures. And so we have all of this crazy stuff going on, and it's acceptable because people from outside of us, incentivize it and protect the ones who do that. And this is part of the reason why other Black people, like people in Africa, when they see movies like that, and when some of them come here and see that stuff that was depicted in that clip happening in real life, they may not say it openly, but they were like, this would never happen in my country. Look how she's talking to him. Look how she's talking to him. That will never happen. That will never happen. That's what they're saying to themselves. I'll give you another example, just to take it off men and women relationships for a second. You know how in this country, uh, your child can call police on you or child protective services or whatever it's called in your city, right? And they'll come and you like, they're going to take my kids away, or they're going to do this, or they're going to do that. Try that over there. First of all, it's an embarrassment on the person to call police on their parents. or even a domestic situation for one spouse to call the police on the other. If a child will have the audacity to call the police on their parents, that child might end up in jail for a night to get his mind right. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. Regardless of whatever the law says in the country, whatever the Constitution or whatever laws they got. The culture dominates the way people act, not the laws that's on the books. Here is different. Hey, you back. Alhamdulillah.
You miss me?
I don't know. Give me a few minutes to think about that.
What you was talking about?
No, I was talking about the levels of violations in the scenario you gave. Mm-hmm. Number one, her talking all crazy, even if it happened behind closed doors and nobody heard, that's still a violation. Just talking all crazy, reckless like that. Two, it happened in public. And in that situation, it didn't happen, the one you mentioned. But now we see a lot of situations where dudes be going back and forth with the woman. What are you doing? Men don't do that. Men will either walk away, they try to diffuse it, and sometimes that, angers women more. Don't turn your back on me. Come over here. I'm talking to you, right? A lot of people don't recognize that a lot of times him walking away from you may be the best thing, right? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of our people that can't control their emotions, they can't come back. Most of us brothers aren't as quick-tongued and witty as y'all. So, you be with your tongue, and we be like, right? And we realize we can't win, and we feel like it's a win-lose situation, and we in this competition, we got to win. Well, I can't beat you with my tongue. I'll beat you with my hands.
SubhanAllah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Imad and out.
SubhanAllah.
But these are some real toxic situations. Like Allah says in the Quran, how with regards to the woman, the purpose of marriage, li taskunu ilayha, so that you may find rest, peace, taskunu, sakina, like sukun, like you read Arabic, sukun, you stop, you rest on that letter. There's no vowel, there's no harakat, there's no movement, right? You rest, right, on the letter. That's what the woman's supposed to be. Rest, peace. Right? Like sakina, peaceful. Right? Allah mentions in the Quran in different stressful situations how he sent down sakina upon the Sahaba. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's like subhanAllah, like even before wars. Think about you about to fight, just like a regular street fight. I know we different generation now, but those of you old enough, you fought before, right? Yeah. Back in my generation, not you, Samira. You was soft. You was scared, right? You stayed in the house, right? But everybody else our age, right? Male or female, we went out. We had at least 1 or 2 fights, right? We fought, right? Some of us fought every day. Some of us fought a few times a day. Some of us, we fought regularly. I know I fought regularly. It was just normal. It wasn't abnormal. When I was growing up, I probably had a fight with everybody on my block at one time or another, and every one of them had a fight with all the rest of them, right? I had a fight with somebody in school, right? Everybody had a fight, right? Why did I mention? I forgot the point I was about to make.
You was talking about sakina, how Allah.
I was mentioning, right before you fight, right? How your adrenaline and stuff. It's a one-on-one fight. We're not even talking about guns and stuff, right? Just regular fight. Your adrenaline is rushing, everything like that. Imagine a war. A war. Where at that time, arrows, swords, hand to hand, right? Right before it's about to jump off. Allah sends down that sakina. Sahaba went to sleep. Your adrenaline running, you can't go to sleep. They went to sleep. After the battle of Uhud took a turn for the worse, and they was up in the mountain, and everybody's like, found out the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is not dead, he is alive, everything like that. Allah sent down Sakina. They went to sleep. I'm emphasizing the word Sakina because Allah says, Li taskunu ilayha, so that you may find rest, peace with her. We're supposed to be each other's peace. It's not supposed to be beefing, warring, right? That's for outside, not inside. And some of us live in some real crazy situations. And it's normal for us. It's normal for the wife to bust you upside the head with an iron or a pot from the kitchen. Or
don't let no grits be in it.
Yeah. or almost stab you, right? Like, for real, a lot of our people are living like this. Ain't nobody gonna admit it, but a lot of our people, I'm talking about even Muslims. Some of y'all sisters is freaks. I'm talking about your sisters. Y'all sisters. Yeah, some of y'all sisters freaks. Astaghfirullah, brother. What you mean some of us is freaks? Some of y'all start these arguments and then y'all flip it 180 degrees and get real submissive, right? You started the argument. You picked the argument out of nowhere. Call him all types of names. He's mad, right? He there. He right there, and you know it. You got your finger on his emotions. He right there. He real angry, and then you come on to him real romantic right then at that point because you want that makeup sex. There was no argument in the beginning. You made the argument just for the makeup sex, right? And what's some sisters doing this?
Yes, he did, sister. Yes, he did. Woo! Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh.
That's that hood ghetto stuff, right? Muslims doing that.
How you know?
Don't worry about how I know.
So back
I got mileage.
Oh, okay. The leadership. It goes back to leadership.
Oh yeah, that's right. When I went to go make salat, you was in the process of blaming the woman's behavior on the man.
Why you got to?
The reason she was acting like that because there was no leadership. All right, go ahead, continue.
No leadership, and she didn't respect his leadership. A lot of us don't even know what leadership is, what it looks like.
All right, so how would she not if she don't know what leadership is, how would she know to respect it?
That's the point. That's the point.
So maybe it's not the absence of leadership.
Well, I beg to differ because there are some men don't know what leadership look like.
You can beg all you want,
how to play the
and
role.
you can differ all you want. It don't matter. I'm right because I said so.
I'm messing with me.
But Salam to Anissa.
Anissa in the house. She said, "What did I miss?"
her post brought a smile to my face.
Listen, that's leadership. Did y'all see what happened? Did y'all see Anissa's post today? Early this morning, I was on my way to run some errands. I saw her post. I didn't even finish the post. I called her. And she was like, girl, right? Brothers, y'all have a role to play. Protect and defend. And don't be afraid of that. You know, you have to embrace that role of protection, right? And defending. And sometimes when you do that, and unfortunately, I'm going to say this, sometimes sisters put themselves in a situation that get brothers killed. Unfortunately, it does happen. Like you were talking about domestic violence, right? And you have a situation, a system, she's in a domestic violence situation. She asks for help, but then she like, no, I don't want your help, right? Or you alleviate the situation, but she go back to the situation, right? Or she may be the one doing the domestic violence. It ain't him, it's her, right? And you looking at it from the outside and you thinking she's the victim when she's actually the aggressor. But you assume it was the other way around. And unfortunately, brothers with good hearts intervene and end up losing his life and taken away from his family. So it's like a catch-22, right? As brothers, you will want to step up, but then you run the risk of losing your life over some nonsense she started, right? SubhanAllah. So leadership, it has to be established. The role of leaders have to be defined and made clear. It has to be defined in a manner that it cannot be misconstrued. It cannot be misunderstood. It's clear what leadership is. What leadership is not is being an oppressor. Can't be an oppressor if you're in leadership. When you are in leadership, you're at service to others. Like a husband, he's at service to his family. A leader of a community is at service to the ones that are part of that community. He's at service, right? And so it has to be understood, okay, that's my leader. I'm going to ride with him. When they're doing wrong, you're supposed to give them nasiha, right? He's not above the law. If you're a wife and your husband is observing, Allah's, commandments, prohibitions, you're supposed to give him nasiha. You have some brothers don't want to be checked. The wife say, you're supposed to be going to Juma. You don't tell me what to do, woman. Do what I want, right? But she right. And sometimes it don't even matter how she say it. Because we talking about how this woman was addressing Marcus, right? All loud, right? You could be sweet and tell the brother, give him nasiha, still have a problem with it. He don't want to be checked.
Don't even try it, Samira. I know where you're going.
No, that's not where I'm going. But I'm just saying that we have to check our egos. Because being part of a leader is being criticized. Right? I asked you a question. Isn't that part of leadership, being criticized?
Yeah.
Giving constructive criticism. Constructive. Not just criticizing, but constructive. Let me rephrase that. Constructive criticism, right? Not above that. That leads into the second point.
Read Hassan Ali's comment.
Okay. But keep in mind that there are various forms of leadership and various ways to lead. Every leader doesn't have to be overly aggressive. Right. That's important. You have those that are aggressive. They think they're not being a leader if they're not aggressive. They have to observe the situation, adjust accordingly. One thing I don't like is monotheistic approach, mostly by women, in determining what leadership is. And it comes in a different form that is not real leadership. That's why I say you have to know what leadership is. Right? Like I hear a lot of this, right? I'm not going to obey him. I'm not going to obey him if he ain't paying my bills. Right? I'm not going to obey him if he's not, paying for this or paying for that, right? And I'm like, what does that got to do with the other? If he's doing a thing, he's sinful, you advise him. That's your responsibility. Right? So we determine when we should obey the husband and not based on what Allah and his messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam says when to obey. Do we know better than Allah and his messenger, slave with Saddam? Because we have it all screwed up when it comes to obey. Right? What's that? Surah 30, 33, ayat 34.
What does it say? I don't know that.
Al-Rijal, Kawamuna, Al-Nisa.
That is Surah 4, verse
434. Okay, I got it wrong. Can you recite that?
Ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa bima faddala Allahu ba'dahum 'ala ba'din wa bima anfaqu min amwalihim. That's all I know.
That's all you know. The part I wanted to say is that part. Let me look it up.
Salihatu qanitatu hafizatu lil ghaib.
That part.
And the righteous women are devoutly obedient to them and guard what Allah will have them guard.
That part. Surah 4, An-Nisa, ayat 34. So the righteous women are devoutly, this is one translation, obedient, guarding in the husband's absence, what Allah would have them to guard. This is in Quran. Righteous women, right? We live in a society that righteous is not cool. It's downplayed, right? It's like, it's looked at as like you being fake, you being phony. Like you trying to, you trying to reach a level that's impossible. And we believe that narrative. So we like, I just want to stay ignorant with bad manners, bad character, and it's cool, right? It reminds me of school. You know, when you was going to school, what the kids used to do. Used to make fun of the kids that were smart. They used to get, hundreds on their tests and, had perfect attendance. And the bad kids, and I couldn't even say that they weren't smart. They was. They just wanted to fit in, right? So they make you feel bad. And your dumb behind listen to them and start filling your grades, right? So you could be like them, right? SubhanAllah. We got to stop being like that. A lot of us have not matured. We may be up in number, but our maturity level has not reached that age, has not reached the age. SubhanAllah. Let me go back in this comment. Somebody said, Sis Cook, I disagree. We keep hearing the statement, but it's subjective truth. What was the statement? I didn't get it. As men, we see the complete opposite, but because the sister bases things subjectively or off those she knows are our truth. African-American men are dismissed in the attempt to invalidate. Both have to have a role in marriage, but communication is key. Nisa said, Hassan Ali, absolutely. My husband is far from aggressive. He's more of a mental and gentle approach and corrects me with Islam, which cuts deeper. Yes. SubhanAllah, I want to read something to y'all. That reminds me. Muhammad Bello, the son of Sheikh Shehu Uthman Den Fodio, may Allah envelop him in his mercy, Ameen, wrote a treaty entitled Risala lil Amrad Shafiya, a letter of healing for spiritual and social diseases. And one of the chapters, chapter 4, is entitled Obedience to Those in Authority. And I want to read that to you. He says, Allah the Exalted says, O you who believe, obey Allah and obey the messenger and those in authority among you. This is Surah An-Nisa, same surah we came from. Verse 59, right? Allah is giving a command to the believers, those of us that call ourselves believers, Muslim, right? He tells us to not only obey Allah and his messenger, but those in authority amongst you. It has been narrated, related by the two sheikhs, Bukhari and Muslim, as well as Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi, An-Nisai, Ibn Jarir, Ibn al-Mundhir, Ibn Abi Hatim, and al-Bayhaqi, and Dalail by way of Sa'id ibn Jubair on the authority of Ibn Abbas concerning his words. O you who believe, obey Allah, obey the messenger, and those in authority among you. He said this verse was revealed concerning Abdullah ibn Hudayfa ibn Qais ibn Adi when the Prophet ﷺ sent him in authority over the military detachment, Sariya. It has been narrated by Sa'id ibn Mansur ibn Abi Shayba, his servant, Ibn Humayd, Ibn Jarir, Ibn Mundhir, and Ibn Abi Khatam on the authority of Abu Huraira concerning his words, and those in authority among you. Those are the emirs. Furthermore, in another narration, those are the emirs of the military detachments. It has been related by the two sheikhs, Ibn Jarir and Ibn Abi Hatim, on the authority of Abu Huraira, who said that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, whoever obeys me has obeyed Allah. Whoever obeys my emir has obeyed me. Whoever obeys me has disobeyed Allah. Whoever disobeys my emir has disobeyed me. It has been related by Ibn Jarir on the authority of Ibn Zayd concerning his words and those in authority. Those are the rulers, Salatin. The Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, adherence to obedience. Adherence to obedience. And in obedience, there is affliction, bala'un. If had so will, he would have made this affair of government among the prophets. This means that he would have placed for them rulers and placed the prophets with them. Have you not seen how the rulers judged regarding killing Yahya ibn Zakaria? It has been related by al-Bukhari on the authority of Anas, who said the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, hear and obey, even if there is placed over you an Ethiopian whose head is like a dried raisin. It has been related by At-Tirmidhi, Al-Hakam, and it was verified by Al-Bayhaqi in Ash-Sha'abi on the authority of Abu Umayma, who said, I heard the Messenger of Allah ﷺ say in his sermon during his farewell pilgrimage, worship your Lord, pray your 5 prayers, fast during your month, give the alms from your wealth, and obey your emirs. By doing so, you will enter the paradise of your Lord. It has been related by Ibn Jarir on the authority of Abu Huraira that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, after me, there will be governors who will govern you, for the righteous will govern you with his righteousness, and the sinful one will govern you with his sinfulness. However, listen to them and obey them in all that they command you, which conforms with the truth, al-haq. And you should pray behind him. If they do well, then it will be in your favor. If they do evil, then it will be in your favor, and it will be held against them. I want to stop right there. As you can see there, that them being who they are, talking about the leaders, we are told to obey, right? Our leaders. Even if they are jacked up, as long as they do not order you to do something that's haram, you follow them. We have gotten so like personality worship, right? As soon as they do something that you don't like, I'm not listening to him. You altogether give up your Islam based on the shortcomings of this person. That's how bad we are. And when it comes to the husband, we have these high expectations that we don't even place on ourselves. And then as soon as he just make one wrong thing, we ready to just throw everything out. I don't want to mess with you, right? What you got to say about that, Habibi? As far as respect and leadership and how important, it's not subjective. It don't depend on the situation or how I'm feeling that day.
It's a lot to say about that.
Well, summarize.
Our whole Islamic social structure, social order is being destroyed because of this issue with leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Leaders don't want to come together to recognize a leader from amongst them. People under leaders don't want to recognize their leaders or give them their rights. The people under the brothers don't respect them. That's what we're talking about tonight. Wives and children, right? He's a leader in the family. He's not getting respect. And he's not giving respect to his leaders or even acknowledging leaders.
Right.
And you know, leader over me, right? And it's the same thing his wife is saying to him, no, he ain't no leader over me, right? Right? Children saying that, he ain't no leader over me, right? Scholars say that situation gets so bad that even trained animals won't even pay no attention to you. Our whole social order is destroyed. And our vision is so tunnel vision, so narrow-minded. A lot of times we don't see that we're not getting the obedience that we want as a result of us not giving the obedience that we're supposed to give.
It's a power.
Like the things we do have spiritual, unseen repercussions. And Umar ibn al-Khattab, who the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam described as being the muhaddath of this ummah, the one that is inspired by Allah from among this ummah, this nation, this community of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said every community, every nation has one, and Umar ibn al-Khattab is that in my ummah, right? So when Umar says something, we should listen, right? Because of how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam described him. He's inspired. In fact, there's over 20 times in the Quran where Umar said something and Allah revealed verses of the Quran agreeing with Umar, sometimes using the same words Umar used. Right?
Wow.
So Umar said it, you need to think. Whoa, wait, what did he say? Right? Umar said, Innahu la Islama illa bi jama'atin. That verily, or indeed, there is no Islam without jama'ah, community. Right? Yes, he said in very emphatic language. He said, La Islamata. La Islama, excuse me. La Islama, right? La Nafil Jinsi. It's the la, the type of la that's being used is used with a noun that follows it, and that noun is mansub. It ends in fatah, which means that thing don't exist. La Islama illa bi jama'atin. That there is no Islam without community. That la that's being used is the same type of la that's used in the Shahada. La ilaha. The word for God in the Shahada ends in fatah. There is no God. We don't say la ilahu or la ilahi. We say la ilaha. There is no God. Illallah, except Allah. Right? That same type of construction Umar ibn al-Khattab is using to say la islama illa bi jama'atin. There is no Islam without jama'ah. And then he went on to say la jama'ata illa bi imaratin, what you're talking about. There's no community without imara, leadership.
Yeah.
Wala imarata, and there's no leadership illa bi ta'atin, except with obedience, what you're talking about. Right. So that's how it works. You want Islam, you need community. You want community, you need a leader of that community. You need leadership. You want leadership? You got to obey that leader. What's the sense of having a leader if you ain't obeying them? There ain't no leader. I think Hassan Ali said it in the comments. There's a leader without followers is just somebody out for a walk. Right? You know, leader, nobody following him. Right? The same thing goes in the house. Your family is a Jamaat.
Mm-hmm.
Your family is a Jamaat. It has a structure. It has a hierarchy.
Right.
And we undermine the hierarchy all the time, and we wonder why the Jamaat crumbles.
Allah. That's crazy. If you think about it, the leadership there is like, think about rain, right? Leadership is the umbrella. It's to safeguard you. Say it ain't rain, say it's acid rain, right? And the leadership is that special umbrella that doesn't penetrate, right? And as long as you stay under that umbrella, you safe. But some of us like
in that same book that you was reading from, Muhammad Bello, rahimahullah, mentions a hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that says, "The Sultan dhillatillahi fil ard." The Sultan is the shade of Allah on earth. Meaning, Sultan is another word for leader, ruler, governor, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What does shade do? It provides protection for everybody under him, right? So the Sultan, the ruler, the leader, is the shade, the protection, the protection Allah is giving you on earth.
And subhanAllah, and like I had quoted, it says about that person that leads you, if they do evil, it will be in your favor and it will be held against them. So think about it. You're not held accountable for something that they do. That's on them. That's not affecting you. We take it personal as far as like everything that leader does falls back on me. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. Allah set up this structure for you to follow, right? And don't deviate. We be using our own mind about when we should follow or not follow. And we end up following, these charlatans. We follow these like, subhanAllah. I ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna leave that alone. You end up being in a cult, right? Because it feel good. He loved me, right? He said, I don't know about any female cult leaders. I only know men, so that's why I'm saying men. Have you heard of any cult female leaders?
Yeah.
I don't want to. Who?
I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But during the time of Musaylama, the liar, there was a female false prophet.
SubhanAllah.
When Musaylama was a smooth cat, he married her and put her on his team.
Okay. Okay. I'm just saying.
I want to address Tahira's comment, because she mentioned that she lives in Philly, big Muslim population, but no set leadership here.
Ooh.
I lived in Philadelphia, right? I was in leadership in Philadelphia. Philadelphia has and had leadership. Imam Asim was rahimahullah was the imam of and the Amir of the Majlis Ashura. It was a collective body of leadership, right? And Imam Asim was the Amir, or the head of that leadership body. Mm-hmm. Now, I only spent a small time in Philadelphia. I lived there for 5 years, right? And just what I've seen, right? Other leaders in the community undermining the leadership they agreed to follow. I can give specific examples. I won't do it, but like publicly, but right. The majlis that they all a part of, right, agreed to do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. Then you got member masjids, right, trying to not do what you all agreed about. it's all the same thing. Like we talking about families, we talk about masjid. It's the same thing with groups of masjids. We all come together voluntarily, and we agree on a certain amount of principles, and then you in the organization that you voluntarily agreed to be into, and you undermining it.
Mm.
And like I'm talking about Imam Asim, where I get the phrase from. You gotta watch these jokers. I get that from him. Right? He used to say that. I remember being in a Majlis meeting, right? I'll give you an example. I remember being in a Majlis meeting, and because they got brothers that go out there. I mean, he goes out every month and sight the moon there in Philadelphia. He's head of the moon sighting committee, right? They do local moon sighting, just like we do, just like we advocate, right? Had some masjids that want to follow Saudi. You got all the matter of fact. Hold on for 1 second. Don't change the subject. Hold on. I wrote this book in Philadelphia. Right? People want to follow Saudi. We're providing you with the proof from the book and the sunnah why you should be citing the moon like you've been doing, right? That's how you gotta deal with deal with Negroes. People won't admit it, and I people probably don't like me saying it, but I know some people are happy Imam Hassan passed. But why would you say that? Astaghfirullah. Now the floodgates open. Do what you want to do. I remember being in a meeting. This when Imam Shamsuddin was still there. Right? And I remember, I'm trying to find the words, but I'm not trying to call out anybody. That's why I take it so long. Brothers was talking about following Saudi and all that kind of stuff. We told them don't do it. This is close to the Sunnah. Blah 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 blah. They ain't want to listen to us. After leaving that Majlis meeting, Imam Shamsuddin and Imam Asim, now we need to have another meeting. We need to go with local sided. What we need to be there for? We told you to do that. Some imams had to pull out the little gangster thug card on you to get you to follow the Sunnah. That's us Negroes, right? If you don't get tough and gangster with them, you don't know how to act, right? This book is out of print here. It's an old book. And people that know Philadelphia, you know the history, you know the personalities and the history that comes with Imam Shamsuddin and Imam Asim Rahimahullah. Back in the day, that meant something. And so some people, you tell them the Quran and the Sunnah, they don't want to hear all that. Imam Asim, Imam Shamsuddin say something, now they hear you.
Ooh, alaikum salam to Tosha. Thank you for joining us.
That's why this ummah has always had people like Umar ibn al-Khattab, like Khalid ibn Walid. Sometimes people don't know how to act, even around the messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? But Umar will straighten you out. He'll teach you how to act. Just like that, even during Umar's time, when there was this man in the army, right? And he was going around in the army with these mutashabi, allegorical or ambiguous, verses of the Quran, right? What do you think this means? Right? The same problem we got now. Like, you think Allah says this about himself, he means this literally? Right? He asking all these questions, right? He just picked all of those allegorical verses in the Quran and just going in the Muslim army, just asking these questions, like trying to like shake the faith of the people.
Mm-hmm.
The general got so tired of what he was doing, and he wrote a letter back to Umar ibn al-Khattab in Medina. This person's causing trouble.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing this and he's doing that. Umar said, send him back to Medina. He sent him back to Medina. When he finally got in Umar's presence, Umar said, so I understand that you have some questions or issues you need cleared up about the book of Allah. He said, yes. He said, okay, let me hear what your issues are. So he recited a verse. Well, what does this mean? I said, okay, you got any other problems, any other verses that you need some clarity on? He said, he mentioned another verse. He said, okay, keep going. I'll help you out. He mentioned all of the verses, right? So he said, yeah, that's it. I mentioned everything that I have issue with. Umar, let me pause here. Umar is described as someone whose bones are clothed with flesh. That's how they describe it in Arabic. Majlul lahm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning he was cock diesel in our language.
Mm-hmm.
They said he was so tall that if you were coming from a distance and you saw a group of people and Umar was among them, you would assume that he was sitting on his horse and everybody else was standing on the ground, right? But when you got up close, you realize that Umar's standing on the ground just like everybody else, right? So Umar ibn al-Khattab, when that man finished asking him all these questions and all that kind of stuff, Umar picked him up and body slammed him. And then he kicked him and rolled him in the rug and started kicking the rug. And then he let the man get up. He said, have I clarified these issues for you now? You understand? Everything is cool? He said, yes, Amir al-Mu'minin. Everything is cool. I understand now. And he said, don't let me ever hear you asking about these things again for as long as I live. Yes, Amir al-Mu'minin. You know that joker? Imam Asmi, we got to watch these jokers. You know, that dude kept quiet. He maintained, didn't bring that stuff up again. But he outlived Umar. As soon as Umar died, he starts talking that stuff again, asking those questions. Our Ummah has always had people like Umar ibn al-Khattab in there. Some people you can quote ayat, hadith all day. They don't understand that. But there is a language they do understand. I don't know why I got off on that. Oh, it was Tahira's question because really they got Muslims in leadership. It's just that other leaders don't want to follow them, right? Now the Wahhabis done took over the whole thing, so you know they ain't following no leadership. They don't even follow their own leadership. The Wahhabis take it over, and the most educated of the Wahhabi, the grassroots Wahhabis, say he's a deviant. So Philadelphia is even more like the Wild Wild West.
SubhanAllah. So I want to go into the second part, consultation, right? Although you may be the leader, you got to have consultation, right? Mm-hmm. You have to, you don't know everything. You know, there may be some things that people may need. That's it. There may be things that you didn't have any thought of until that person mentioned that. You know, they say 2 heads is better than 1. Mm-hmm. That goes for community. That goes for even in marriage, right? You have a wife. You don't bark orders. You don't just make decisions. She has to deal with it too. And out of respect, you then come to her and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing X, Y thing. What you think about? Now, either she agree or disagree. It's neither here or there, but at least you respected her enough and acknowledge her by coming to her. That's not a sign of weakness. That's actually strength to be able to come to someone and say, hey, what you think about this? Because you don't know everything. And when you think that you know everything, you blinded to everything, any kind of input anybody has. And if you have a community and you have like you don't even pay attention to the congregants. I'm gonna say that you don't consider their age, you don't consider their circumstances or nothing, but you will and swore that I'm going to run it this way, right? First of all, the things that you trying to implement doesn't even apply to the people. They're not even interested in, or maybe they too young to understand whatever that you do. You understand? Like, you got to know your peoples, right? You got to have relationships, and like sister said, communication is key. You have to have communication. You got to communicate. We living in a time, and I don't know where it come from, but people don't communicate. They don't talk. They all in here. If we can open up people's minds, you'll hear a whole lot of conversations going on, but they're not getting out to anybody. And so,
and they expect you to know what's going on in their head.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
How do you think that I'm supposed to know that? You didn't tell me that.
Because they haven't these ideas in their head. They became reclusive, like you had this it didn't just start, but you had this campaign of mosque without borders, right? You ain't got to go to the masjid to get your spiritual enlightenment and reviving and things like that. You don't need to go to the masjid. They don't, all is everything that is opposite of what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, laid out for us, right? And so these people, when you take yourself out of the community, take yourself out of the, out of the four walls, I'm saying four walls, but out of the, the buildings of the house of Allah, then you feel like I'm not accountable for nothing. I don't belong there. I don't go to the masjid, so I should not be concerned. I'm just worrying about myself. And it goes back to that individuality thinking, individualists. And they're just concerned with what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. It don't matter about anybody else. And that's the opposite of Islam.
They're gonna see how that worked out when it's time to get buried, especially if their affairs ain't in order, or even if their affairs are in order and the people left in charge to make them things happen don't do it. They'll see how it is when they wake up in that grave, after being cremated or in the cemetery next to a Christian and an atheist and all that, and no janazah being prayed over them. Let me know how that work out.
That's scary. Just to think about that. That is really scary. So we have to, and like I said, everybody has their role. Even, the wife, even the mother has a role, a leadership role. And I'm not sure who said it, but maybe you can remind me. There is no obedience to creation when there's disobedience to the creator of
Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La ta'ata lil makhluq fi ma'siyatil khaliq." There's no obedience to a created thing while being in disobedience to the creator.
Exactly. So you wonder why your life is all upside down and kids out of whack. Nothing's going your way, right? Can't just blame it on the shaitan. You got to look in the mirror. How do I contribute to this? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? That's why I like to ask that question when, someone has issues. Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Don't worry about the other factors. What are you doing in the meantime? And they have to admit, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So how do you expect things to be okay if you're not doing what you're supposed to do? We don't want to take accountability. We don't want to be responsible, right? But everybody want to be the leader of something, right? Want to be the head. But you don't want to, deal with those things that come along with that responsibility. It's a whole lot of stuff. It's not easy, right? Because you're going to have people in marriage, in communities that fight against you. That's why you have like people that are married. He's like, I don't know how they married. She can't stand his gut. She hated him, right? or he's like, I can't stand her, right? And like you say all the time, they're unnecessary evil. In order to get what I need to get from them, I'm here. But if I didn't have to be, I wouldn't be here. Right? That's bad. That's a bad attitude. That's a bad state of being that you can't stand that person. You are repulsed by them. Yet you stay there, deal with all that, just so you can get whatever it is that you're trying to get. I don't understand that. Or you in a community and you're like, I don't really care about the community, but because I'm able to get something out of it, I'm not being specific because I don't want nobody thinking I'm talking about them because I don't know any specific situation. But I'm only here for this. But if I really don't even want to be here. But because I'm trying to keep up with something, I gotta be here. You know, that type of thing. Like they're not even benefiting from being there. They're just there just to watch it crumble. You know, when it's done, it's done. I'll just go to the next whatever situation. You know what I mean? So we have to be mindful of our intentions. Like I said, you know, in the beginning of the show, our intentions are everything, right? And once we go in with pure intentions, and sometimes it get derailed, renew it. You know, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Why am I, going through this? You got to ask yourself, right? So just like that clip, that's funny. The clip, you saw that he addressed the issue, right? Become a leader, right? And he told the wife, like, I'm not here for your money. I'm here for you. Like, I want to be with you, right? I love you. I want to be with you. I care for you, right? And he's like, you don't even know when you have a good thing. Sisters, why do we, sabotage our stuff? You have a good thing, but because you have been going through a whole lot of stuff, that's part of your makeup, right? That's all. It's like, it can't, this is too good to be true. I got to put a wrench in it, a monkey wrench in it, like, because that's what I'm used to, right? I'm used to dysfunction. And people are functioning in dysfunction. And and they cool with that. And that's bad. That's bad. Allah told us to live in love and mercy, right? That is how, that is supposed to be the condition in the marriage, right? And once we and also if we're in a community, there should be love and mercy, right? And tolerance when you're dealing with each other, because we're trying to, achieve a goal, right? And sometimes you ain't gonna like what comes down the pipe, but that's okay as long as it's not haram. You just flow with it, right? And so what I liked what he did in this clip is that he addressed the baby mama. He put her in her place. Like I said, take away the backdrop, right? That was going on. But he addressed her. And he said, this is my wife. You're going to respect her. Brothers, you got a problem with that. It's hard for you, especially like in polygamous situations. Y'all don't like to address nobody because y'all like, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to cause no problems.
I noticed this whole show, you ain't really get on the sisters. You Jimmy rigged everything to throw it back on the brothers. You ain't slick.
Stop
You gotta watch these jokers and jokerettes. In the words of my beloved Imam Amin. These jokers and jokerettes. You gotta watch. Right?
This ain't about finger pointers, it's about lessons.
It's about lessons.
Right.
We Muslims, our character supposed to be Islam's supposed to be rectifying our character, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
Our Muslim sisters should be rectified and be getting better and improving.
You done froze up. You froze up on me. Go ahead. What you say?
Why do I have to keep checking the wives or the baby mothers and all of that? We all Muslim. You're supposed to know to act better.
You should, but we don't.
And I gotta remind you, this ain't a Tyler Perry movie. He manned up and checked his wife and a baby and his baby mama, and they both fell in line. That's the movies. That ain't happening in real life.
But it
It's
should.
gonna like all of a sudden re-fall in love with him on the spot, like, oh, Marcus. Oh, that's the movies. Tyler Perry wrote that, man. It don't happen in real life.
So what I'm
They ain't
saying,
falling in line like that.
but
And
listen,
and the one who will fall in line like that fears Allah.
yes, right.
And it reminds me of something that Imam Saraj said. He said it a few times in lectures and khutbahs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a different scenario, but I think it makes the same point. He said 2 sisters came into his office. None of them had hijab on. And they said, Imam Saraj, we want you to show us in the Quran where Allah says we have to wear hijab. He said he could have easily pointed the ayats out. Many of us, we know the ayats, right? Mm-hmm. But this is where wisdom kicks in. Because usually things go together. So Imam Saraj asked them, do y'all pray? And they was like, no. He was like, does Allah say to pray in the Quran? They said, yeah. And so his point to them was, if you don't pray, and you both say you know that Allah says to pray, prayer, the issue of prayer is more important than hijab, but you're not praying. What makes you think that if I show you the verses in the Quran that says wear hijab, that you're going to wear hijab? Mm-hmm. There's a deeper problem going on. Our connection and obedience to Allah.
Exactly.
It's the deeper problem. It's the same thing with this.
Yep. I agree.
That's why Allah says in that same verse that if you fear nushuz or rebellion, disobedience from them, right, mm-hmm. you admonish them, right? There's stages, there's an escalation on how you deal with them, right? Mm-hmm. You admonish them. And then if she returns, all right, cool. If not, then you separate the bed from them, right? Mm-hmm. If not, then it says beat them. And for the record, it don't mean beat them like what we think beat, right? It means that you physically admonish them. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very specific about what that would look like. Meaning you can't leave no bruises. You can't, harm her. The point is not to physically harm her. Mm-hmm. Like the way we think in the West, if you hitting someone, the purpose of hitting them is to harm them, right? Why would I hit you if I'm not trying to harm you, right? But it's not the case in this verse. That's why it's described that, like hitting somebody with a miswak, like a toothbrush. Like, you don't expect to hurt somebody by doing this to them, right? Right. So he says like that. And then the next verse mentions that if she still doesn't return, then you get consultation. A consultant from your family and a consultant from her family, right? That's the stages you go in when you have issues, right? A lot of women, you tell them what Allah said, what his messenger said. I ain't trying to hear that crap. I told you what you're doing is wrong, Quran and Sunnah. You don't want to hear that crap? What? Separate the bread? What? Why? I'm trying to give you none anyway, right? Right? There's a deeper issue going on. Taqwa, these are signs. You mean to tell me my man, my husband, don't want to be intimate with me? A woman that fears Allah will be like, whoa, wait a minute. Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk. Someone that don't fear Allah, bye. Okay. I get, you know how y'all sisters do it. Well, he mad about me for this. I got stuff to be mad about too. What about this? You're good at turning the table around, right? You're good at turning the table. Oh, you say, well, what about this, right? You mention this. Well, what about that? You always turn it around. Always redirecting, right? Well, I got issues too, right? Right?
Yes.
And then you try to hit your wife with a bishwhack. Nigga, what you doing?
Nice.
You try to do a little like that. She gonna hit you for real.
Okay, I know the point.
If you're dealing with that type of person. So the point
Right.
is that there's an underlying problem going on that
Right.
trumps all of that.
Exactly.
And it has to do with Allah and his messenger.
It has to do with her relationship.
There's no
Right.
talk with it. It's not necessarily always his leadership.
That's true.
It could be his decision-making process. Why would you choose a woman like that?
Right.
Okay, and you know she's like that. Why are you still with her?
Well, that is a leadership decision because you're choosing someone to be on your team, right?
Right.
You the captain, right?
Right.
And being the captain requires you to make the best choices. You have to consider, certain things. And this is not talking about any particular
what captain, what coach, what team owner will bring on a player to his team that's going to be like, I know you the owner, I know you running stuff, you bring stuff, but sometimes I like to do my thing. I like to hog the ball. I know you got plays and all that. Your coach going to tell me what he going to tell me and all that. That's cool and all that, but right? No, Negro, I'm paying you all this money. You gonna do what I tell you to do, right? Right. But and again, a lot of us haven't been trained, and we're so deprived of good advice. Talking about all of us, men and women, we're so deprived of the good advice that we don't even realize that we're being deprived. We get general advice, if we get advice at all. When I first became Muslim and got advice from my elders and leaders and stuff like that, the advice wasn't very specific. It was real general. Marry someone that fears Allah. Marry a good sister, right? Marry a practicing Muslim.
But
the most specific advice that I got, and I didn't really get it when he gave it to me, was that he said, make sure you marry someone and don't allow yourself to be married. I forgot how he put it. Let you choose somebody. Don't let somebody choose you. Right? But because for people that still are connected to their culture and they have their culture, they get advice we don't get. And that's just because our family structure has been destroyed. And they make sure it stays destroyed. Right? They'll get advice like, you don't want to marry that person. I know you like them, but you don't want to marry that person. They don't come from a good family. His mother was this, his father was that. And they this, that. Right? So you're going to get that type of specific advice because you're part of a unit, you're part of a family, you're part of a team, right? And so it's not just you that's invested in this marriage. Your parents, your uncles, your aunts, and everybody want you to make the best decision about who you marry because you're bringing that person in the family. They don't want trash in their family. It's obviously sometimes this goes overboard where they will warn you against marrying someone else strictly because of their race or something like that, right? But a family that that has some level of taqwa is going to give you that specific advice, that insight that you may not see, especially if you're young, like you don't want to marry that person. We just get all just general stuff, and this is the reason why you and I tried to talk the way we talk. We try to get a little bit more specific when we talk about marriage because we have experience. we have experience and we've learned from our experiences, and also allowed us and blessed us to interact with people from other cultures, and we can actually see what we are being deprived of, and other people aren't deprived of these things.
Agreed. Agreed. So I still want to make the point of leadership, because not leadership, but the point of this show. I'm just using that clip, that you have to have leadership for things to work. Somebody got to be in charge. Somebody got to give direction. Somebody got to be there to protect. You know what I'm saying? And give advice and such. But at the same time, they need to be willing to receive advice and be consulted and be consulting and be consulted, right? Like you mentioned with the marriage. How many people go through that route of consulting from his family and her family? Nobody even know you married, right? Nobody even know y'all together, you know? And so we have to be mindful of these things, because we expecting one outcome, but look how it came together. And look how things is, turning out. It's not going to turn out good, right? And so that leads into cooperation. The last point, cooperation is, I understand you the leader. I understand that you are under my leadership, and vice versa, right? But we're together on this. We're not enemies. You understand? Like the clip, right? He addressed the baby mama, right? They got kids together. That means his wife have to deal with them. Why would you create a situation where you making it hard, where there's somebody that is not connected to the kids, I'm talking about biologically, that they have to, be, involved. They can't separate themselves. It's not even practical. That's not even realistic, right? And yet we create situations for step parents so that to make you keep you like, you ain't the real parent. I'm just going to be dealing with him. And you see how he said, I only have a relationship with you because of the kids. Some people think because y'all have kids, y'all got a special relationship. No, you don't. I only have to talk to you because we got kids. I got to, okay, when they coming over. You understand? Like,
that's one thing that a lot of sisters do. They create problems through the children. They create division. Like, your stepmom ain't your real mom. Well, duh, right? Especially if the child is old enough for you to say that to them, they know that already. What you trying to? What she be doing over there? She do anything? Let me know, right? I don't want her around my kids. That's the most famous one.
Mm-hmm.
He don't know how to choose good women. Sister, he chose you before. Right? Maybe he don't know how to choose good women because he chose you. And so, this stuff, we bring this in the Muslim community. Bring division in the home. So there's someone outside of the home causing problems and friction in the house. And the child has to deal with all that stuff. And then a lot of times the child has to be two-faced, especially when the stepmother is treating her good and everything like this. And then she's getting this steady dosage of hate from her biological mom and stuff. It creates problems. And Allah is going to deal with that mother who did that, because it's a major sin to cause division in general in Islam, especially if everybody Muslim. But then to break family ties, or to cause someone else to break their family ties.
SubhanAllah. It's just crazy. And this applies to communities too. You causing, friction, somebody trying to come in and do good. Oh, you ain't part of us, like, doing some crazy, wild stuff, right? And we supposed to be brothers and sisters, right? indeed the believers are brothers, right? You're supposed to be looking out for one another, right? Somebody first coming to the community, they just moved there. Hey, you need any help? Or whatever the case may be. But you have people so elusive from the community, you don't even know what's going on, who you can go to. You got people there that's making plans, not telling nobody that they plan to leave the community, right? They about to, about to bounce and leave the community, in the situation in which you're supposed to have been fulfilling certain roles. Like, we're messy, right? Real messy. And so I just want us to just keep in mind what leadership, consultation, and cooperation looks like.
You know what just crossed my mind?
What?
Every brother, and I agree, but every brother that I've talked to who has been incarcerated, like myself, right? Everyone I ever talked to and asked this, I said, how would you compare the brotherhood inside as opposed to out here, as compared to out here? Everyone I ever asked that, I'd be like, brotherhood out here don't even exist. Brotherhood in there was real. Like in most prisons, right? If a new brother get transferred to the jail, right? Usually, especially if you just coming from the county or the city, whatever, you don't have nothing, right? You got to wait to commissary, wait till your money get up there and all kind of stuff, right? I don't know how stuff work now. A lot more stuff is, the technology. But back in the day, you don't have nothing when you first come upstate. So, but you Muslim, right? You come up there. Most prisons had like a care package or something. Like, listen, even if it wasn't nothing organized, the brothers was going to look out. Like, okay, you're going to need something to eat. We only eat halal. You ain't going to eat that stuff at the mess hall, right? So, brothers is going to give you some Jack Max, tuna, some noodles, right? Some soap, that state soap is rough on your skin, right? Some lotion, some baby oil, some baby powder, whatever you need to get right.
Right?
And a lot of times you ain't got to pay it back.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on how strong the community is. And every brother that come up or come through that need it, he get it. Right? In prison, you had a leader, right? The imam. Back when I was in prison, you had the chaplain. He may have had the title imam, but the real imam was the imam who was locked up with you. Right? So you had leader, you had all that stuff in place.
Right.
And that intense environment, wishy-washy behavior, there's no room for that.
Nope.
There's too many gangs in here for you to be wishy-washy.
You don't serve
or not.
Exactly.
Right?
Right. With it or not.
Here is too much room to be wishy-washy. Yeah. You say you over here, but you hang with them dudes over there, and they don't like us.
Right? And you ain't checking them. Yep. And you ain't checking them.
In prison, somebody be like, yo, come here, let me talk to you. What's up with you and them? Well, those are my people from around the way. We beefing with them. And we're like, well, I've been knew them from all that. Well, listen, you Muslim, right? Right? Only the believers are brothers, right? Are we your brothers or they your brothers? Go. In prison, brothers gonna make you choose, and if you don't choose, they choose for you, because it ain't no room for all of that. That wishy-washy behavior gets you killed.
Subhanallah. Wishy-washy.
Now we live in a land of wishy-washy. Ain't nothing but wish and wash going on.
You can't depend on nobody. That's sad.
Yeah.
But everybody's not like that. Everybody doesn't have that mindset. You gotta know who's with it and who's not. You know what I mean? You gotta pay attention. If you pay attention and you ask Allah to guide you to those people, Allah got you. He'll guide you to the right people. But you gotta make sure you correct. You gotta make sure you correct. And everybody in that circle, whether it's a family, a community, everybody gotta be correct and say, hey, we're committed. We're down. You know what I mean? This is I'm serious about this. My intention is to be here and work and do what I have to do to build, right? This family, if it's a polygamous situation, I'm here. If it's a sister coming in, I'm here. I'm not just here to, out of talk, I'm really here, right? You could tell the one, yeah, I get in there and then I'm gonna kick her out later, right? Or I'm gonna get in there and start some stuff so he'll home be well. I don't know why he with her anyway. The reason why I'm here because he don't want to be with her, but he ain't said nothing that he had a problem. But you gonna make a problem. We just, just people just have patterns. There's patterns about people, and so when you have people that don't tell you they about to move somewhere, don't tell you nothing, part of a community, and you depend on them for certain things and they're not fulfilling that, and then all of a sudden you find out they goes. They're just going, right? When you was going to tell us so we can fill your spot. When you was going to tell us so we can have a contingency plan in place. You're supposed to have a contingency plan, but we supposed to be brothers and sisters. Why you didn't tell nobody nothing? Like we just be like smoking mirrors, like doing all these, secret stuff. Like, I don't know. And it's just frustrating to me. But anyway, we're going to close it out. But we thank everyone. I want to apologize.
You got all that from that clip.
Yep. I want. Yep. Yep. Oh, the last
got
thing.
Me flagged too.
That last part, him checking the baby mama. He checked them both, right? First the wife, then the baby mama, and then both. That y'all got to work together, right? If y'all in the same family, my opinion, you have to work together. You have to for it to work. Sometimes we got to get over ourselves, over our egos, and over our fears and frustrations and whatever. Usually it's just fear. You fear that you're going to lose something. Actually, you gain, right? You gain more when you work together. But the shaitan make you like, nah, you're not gaining nothing. You're going to lose. And so you hold to that because it feels safe to feel like that. So I'm just going to not deal with you. I'm not going to get close to you. I'm not even going to get close to my husband. You have, some sisters like that. I'm not getting close to him because he going to hurt me. Matter of fact, I got me a nest egg that's stacking up in the corner over there just in case he act up. I'm out. Right? Right, ma'am?
Mm-hmm.
They got an escape plan. Right? It's sad. Insurance policy. Right? So subhanAllah. And then it just goes on and on and on. But we need our leadership. We need consultation amongst the parties, whether it's a marriage, a community, and we need cooperation. That's the only way that's how we're going to stand strong. That's how we're going to be strong. And it's strength in numbers, but it's got to be quality because numbers aren't everything. The numbers got to be quality. You got to be sincere, not wishy-washy, on the fence. Well, I'm with them. Well, we all brothers, right? Or we all sisters. We already know that we all brothers and sisters, but you got to make a commitment somewhere, right? And build. And you still can have your relationships elsewhere. But we feel like we got to do either or. We Muslim in general. Alhamdulillah. But you got to have a commitment. Your family, be committed, right? In the community, Jamaat, be committed. Because it's all about Allah and His Messenger. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. Wa alaikum salam to Bettina. We about to close out, inshallah. But we want to thank everyone for joining us on the second part. Alhamdulillah, I got us flagged. I apologize. Facebook. I apologize, Liongate, for violating your trademark, whatever, laws. What is it called, Habibi Boo?
Stealing.
You ain't gotta say it like that. We're just drawing lessons, and I hope that it was beneficial. I hope that it helps us to understand in our positions and our roles and situations to make it better.
Somebody gonna run with that, right? All them deviants. First they promote deviant creed. Now they calling people to Tyler Perry.
Let them. Wa alaikum salam to like Big Cat too. Let them. Just watch the replay. You can make your own determination, mashallah. But Juma Mubarak, please send abundant prayers upon the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, resort to Kaf, send abundant prayers. Make abundant du'as for the Muslim Ummah, make du'as for our brothers and sisters that return back to Allah. May Allah forgive them, have mercy upon them. Keep our children in our du'as, to keep them safe. People in general, make dua, for the world and, protection from this, evil that's out here. And in the meantime, may Allah, allow us, when it's our time that, we die in a good state of al-Islam on correct Aqidah, and that he is pleased with us. So whatever the case may be, may we be, living right all the way up to our last breath. Ameen, ameen, ameen. And we invite you to join us again next week for the Half Your Deen Show with myself, Samir Abdullah, and my co-host here, Imam Naeem Abdullah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Sharifa Salim said, thank you. Great session. Vows. Single and marriage group from Masjid Al-Shahid in Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome. Alhamdulillah. I'm glad that you enjoy, and I'm glad you enjoyed Miss Joanne. Alhamdulillah. May Allah bless you. Please keep us in your du'as. And we look forward to seeing you again next week, inshallah. You have any other closing remarks?
No, ma'am.
Alhamdulillah. All right, with that being said, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wal asra innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bismillah.